All right, peace, y'all. This is Empress Rena Nicole of RenaNicole.com. Sustainable Relationships, the Love Experiences, Divine Intervention Show and Podcast. Yes, it's Sustainable Relationships on Clubhouse. So this is our AM Inspiration Show where we go over every day, 7 days a week, 365, ways to improve and develop yourself so you can have the most optimal, well existence. And we don't cut no corners here. So with that being said, let's go over the topic. Now, today's topic is how to identify and reframe automatic thoughts. So with that being said, let's hop into it. Now we're talking about negative automatic thoughts today. So when you think of an automatic thought, these are the thoughts that pop into our minds in response to a trigger. They can also make us feel like we've lost control of our own thought patterns. They ultimately fill us with anxiety, guilt, and other negative emotions. Now, gratefully, there's plenty of ways to regain control over these thoughts. We have to identify them and replace them with more high vibrational thoughts first. So when you think of automatic thoughts, you think it's negative self-talk, and it appears immediately. It's almost like it's like you're predisposed to this negative talk because it's already inside of you, and it basically comes about reacting to a certain stimuli. And for the most part, they're often irrational. So they do affect our being in a low vibrational, quote unquote, negative way. Okay. Every being, every person, every human has an automatic thought that's maybe different than the next person's. They're related to our life experiences. You know, on this channel, on this show, on this podcast, we talk about our experiences a lot. You know, because how can we teach without experience? You know, and gaining that certain knowledge or different things. So, and the fears or messages that we've internalized for years is basically negative automatic thoughts are built off of our personal traumas and experiences that we've internalized about ourselves and other people. Okay. So they're basically internalized messages, and they're known as our core beliefs. You know, we talk about core values for the first week on this show a lot. Now we're speaking more on getting in depth into the core values, which is our core beliefs. Now, we all have our own flavor, okay? And you may be surprised to know how similar other people's negative automatic responses are or thoughts can be to yours. That's the part, okay? Now, if you want to know, okay, automatic thoughts, no, because I have them and I'm like, you know what? I'll just say forget that. But let's talk about how they can actually impact you emotionally. Okay. Your automatic thoughts are both can be both pleasant and unpleasant as a result of your thought patterns. Emotions don't just come out of the blue, out of thin air. They appear as a response, as a reaction to the interpretations that we have in our reality. Okay, they appear because of the way we're experiencing this existence. You know, um, negative thoughts can trigger unpleasant emotions. They generate emotions of depression, anxiety, frustration, guilt, anger, and unworthiness. Okay, now let's give some examples of an automatic thought. Say, for instance, if you're going to go buy new clothes and you go try clothes on in your size that you thought you wore and you don't fit, but you're not thinking maybe this is cut different, or maybe this designer is not, doesn't make clothes for my body type. You're thinking, oh, I'm fat, you know, um, and then you start to crumble down and beat yourself up, and now you're in a dressing room bawling your eyes out in secret because you feel like you're overweight or whatever you're saying to yourself that's not true. Okay, and let's say this for Pete's sake. Even if you do feel like you're overweight, there's no reason for you to ever talk negative to yourself about it. That's not going to help you. It's not going to make you lose weight. It's not going to make you reach your goals. So it's no need for you to do it. Point blank, period. I want to make that something set in stone. It's no need either way. It's no need for you to say that. Okay. Now another example is if you're having an assignment and you feel like, you know what, I always fail. My key phrase to tell people: if you feel like you always fail, guess what? You're going to fail, because you're putting it in your mind that you're always failing. And that's what you're telling the universe, that whatever comes your way, you're always going to fail. So you're always failing. Another example I told people when they say that nobody supports them, so nobody's going to support you, or nobody likes me, so nobody's going to like you, because you're basically sending a message out to the universe that you're okay with this. This is your reality and you're fine with it. Even if it makes you feel bad, even if you don't, particularly like how it makes you feel, you're putting it out there because the thoughts in your mind are telling you these things, and you're listening to them. And it's this whole conversation we had, it was a very amazing dialogue on the lies we tell ourselves and we believe them. It's basically another in-depth conversation on decluttering the mind and those automatic thoughts. Okay. Yes. So those were some perfect examples, actually. Um, you have to remember that everyone experienced negative thoughts and negative emotions very differently. And I don't really like using the word negative, but since I'm going by the book today, I'm using my notes and stuff like that. I'm just, reading some notes and just going by the book today. So it is what it is. I like to use words like low vibrational or high vibrational. I feel like people get a rise out of using words to define or label people like positive or toxic or negative. And it actually takes away from the human experience, as if these people aren't allowed to feel these things, as if these people aren't allowed to go through life without being labeled for every fucking thing they go through. Excuse my language, but that's just what it is. So we come to a day and age where everybody wants to label everyone, everything, and nobody's actual doctors. Okay? Now, woo! So we don't need our automatic thoughts to add more low vibrational burdens to our existence. When we are not aware, they create low vibrational feelings that can affect how we behave and become self-fulfilling. I literally, just reiterated that in a different way, that the way you talk to yourself, you start to believe it. The lies you tell yourself that's not true, you start to believe those lies. Okay? And that's not okay. That's not okay on any level for you to believe those lies. It's not okay on any level for you to tell yourself those lies. Okay? It's very, very important to become self-aware. When you feel like you are somewhere and you are having a thought that, man, I can't never do nothing right, stop yourself. Remind yourself of all the times you did things right. And try to move forward with that thought. Like, you know what? I've done a lot of things right. I need more practice in doing this. I may need more knowledge on how to complete this task. I may need more perseverance to push through to get the better solution. Okay? This is how you reframe your thoughts instead of having negative self-talk and, having those self-effacing moments that literally destroy your self-esteem and attack your self-love. Okay? And when you do this, you give yourself a better chance in this existence to live optimal and wellness, a well life, because when you don't, you develop sickness. You do gain weight. You do gain mental. You do open the door for mental illness and disease. You do open the door for people to manipulate you and abuse you, because you're already manipulating and abusing yourself. You get what I'm saying? You're already doing these things to yourself, so the door is wide open for predators to come and do these things to you. Okay? Okay, well, people, let's not use the word predators, because you know how touchy-feely people get these days. When it comes to that word. So you have to challenge and redirect your thoughts. Okay? Whew, okay. So the first thing I definitely recommend, if you're having the hardest time and you're not getting through with reframing, and it's just like racing thoughts and they never stop, it's cognitive behavioral therapy. And it's a type of psychological therapy that's used to promote mental well-being for people whose thoughts interfere with living. Okay? And it comes along with dealing with social anxiety and depression and stuff like that. So if you can get in touch with a therapist, and they make you do an intake, they make you fill out, they do a questionnaire with you, and they'll let you know what they believe is going on with you, and then you can get more help from there. Okay? Now, some coaches like myself who have gone through mindfulness coaching, life coaching training through ecology school, which is like psychology of life coaching, where we do intakes as well, but we are not licensed psychologists. But we do intakes, and we might give you the form that we filled out and say, hey, you might want to take this and go, try to get some help from a therapist to see what steps they want to take, and we can help you along with the therapist, because we're not licensed. Now, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just letting you know how the cookie crumbles with some life coaches or mentors or different things like that. Because we all have the tools to assess, but we don't have the licenses to provide the services that you will need. If that makes any sense at all. Okay. Now, that's the first thing I do recommend is cognitive to behavioral therapy. And let's go over the benefits of reframing your automatic thoughts. Okay. Now, the general benefit of reframing automatic thoughts is the self-awareness. The first step to modifying unhealthy patterns is to recognize and name the problem that's maintaining it. Okay. The automatic thoughts. So knowing that an automatic thought is bringing you down is a big relief, because some people just feel angst. Some people feel anxiety, like, oh my God, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't figure it out. Ugh, you know what I mean? And come to find out, it's just thoughts they're just listening to their thoughts, And I remember being in a place where my automatic thoughts were just taking over my whole life. And I just was like, why am I telling myself these things? My life wasn't like this before, And then I had to realize there was some things going on behind the scenes that I didn't even pinpoint myself, like anxiety, like depression and stuff like that. And I had to, get some CBT, some cognitive behavioral therapy, whether I'm a life coach or not, whether I have all these coaches built behind my name or not. I chose to do what was best for me, to help me reframe thoughts that was not true, because if you let these thoughts run amok, then it destroys your life, because you're destroying your own life by listening to these thoughts. You may isolate yourself. You may not trust anyone anymore. You may not want to socialize either. Your friends might not talk to you that much anymore. And there's so many things that when your thoughts take over your life can impact you in such a low vibrational way. And it's not like you're being a negative person, it's that you're sick. You're sick and you don't even know that you're sick at this point. It's a possibility. I'm not diagnosing anyone, but I'm just letting you know my experience. That's the whole reason why I created this platform, is to use some of my experiences and the knowledge and things that I do have on mental health and self-development and self-empowerment, self-love and self-care. Okay. But I know that was the best thing I ever did for myself, because my thoughts, something happened, and after that happened, it's like my thoughts just started racing all the time. I wasn't sleeping for like months at a time, and that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. And it had a toll on my body. It had a toll on my emotions. It had a toll on my finances. It had a toll on everything, because I wasn't able to grasp it. I wasn't able to stop it. I wasn't able to gauge it. I wasn't able to lock it down and pinpoint. Well, I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't able to pinpoint what it was. And I'm grateful that I got that help from myself. Okay. Doesn't mean you're crazy. Doesn't mean anything. It means you're a human, and that that sometimes some things are out of scope for you. You get what I'm saying? So the next one is to plan a solution. Like I literally just talked about the solution. My solution was CBT. Your solution can be journaling. Your solution can be writing things down. Your solution can be the steps that we talked about previously, where you're stopping yourself and breathing through nose breathing and trying to figure out why you're saying these things in your head, why you're believing them, and what is the truth. What is in front of you? Being more present helps. I promise you that when you're more present, it helps you so much because the way I see it is that I'm either too much in the future, which causes me anxiety, and I'm way too far in the past, which causes me major depression. Okay, that's called nostalgia. It's way too much for me. So being present, it gives me an equal balance where I'm able to identify, yes, I've been through things in the past, and I'm able to see, yes, the future is something I'm investing into, but I'm not going to hyper focus on it right now. I'm going to do what I need to do to get there, but I'm not going to hyper focus, and my thoughts are not going to beat me down so I can get to somewhere that I know I'm going anyway. If that makes any sense at all. So those tools are so powerful just to stop yourself. You know how sometimes you argue and you tell people, just shut up. Just tell your boy says, hey, just stop. Just stop your thoughts. Just if you gotta stomp your foot, if you gotta jump up and down, if you gotta go outside and just breathe some air, you just gotta like ball your fists up. If you gotta clap your hands, whatever you gotta do to stop them thoughts, then do it. If you're at work, I'm sure you probably or different things like that, or places where you can't do things that mean like jump up and down, stuff like that. Take a break. If you can, take a break. Breathe. Grab some water. Breathe. Um, Pray. Breathe. Go in the bathroom if you need to tear up and get some tears down. Do that. Do whatever you need to do to stop those thoughts. Because the thoughts are not healthy. The thoughts are extremely low vibrational. And they are thoughts that you've created out of anxiety, thoughts that you may have created out of depression, thoughts you may have created out of trauma, and they're eating you alive. you know, Even when you have the littlest amount of stress, they just come and it's like, oh, they want to snatch your soul. That's the way it feels. It feels like it's a soul snatch because you can be chilling and fine and you can have a few thoughts and then those thoughts will take you to like 10,000 thoughts within the next 3 minutes. And now you feel nauseous, you feel anxiety, you feel like shaky, trembly, and you just wanted to stop. And that's not good. Um, so I'm very aware, self-aware. I've, experienced things with other people. I've helped people through, reframing their automatic thoughts and stuff like that. And I can tell you, like we talked about before, that one thing in common is that sense of anxiety that comes over. Some people get to tremble. Some people just, they can't take it anymore. They need water. They need to breathe. They feel like their lungs are being constricted. You know, um, so when they when they stop themselves, excuse me, they had a different experience the next time when all the thoughts started to come together. They had a different experience and told themselves, hey, you know what? I am a good person. Everything I've done has been with good intention. I'm out here in the world. I'm being mindful. I'm monitoring how I treat people. I'm monitoring what I'm projecting out there into my environment. And it's okay. This is not true. These thoughts are not true. And they realize that they're able to breathe again. They realize that they're able to, not tremble. They're able to move on with their day more faster than when they actually fed the energy of hyperventilating and not trying to reframe the thoughts. Just let the thoughts go running amok. Okay. Um, Excuse me. So basically that's redirecting your emotions, redirecting that moment of emotion. Okay. Woo, that's redirecting that moment of emotion and gaining a sense of control. Two more steps, okay? The biggest thing we need to do is stop blaming ourselves. We do a lot of self-effacing things when the negative thoughts come in. A lot of self-effacing behaviors like self-blame. You have self-blame, you have self-pity. All those are self-effacing, okay? Because if you're accountable and you have self-awareness, you see things, you understand if you did something, and now what it is, it's time to get a solution. It's time to gain knowledge. Okay, you gain awareness on what you did. Next time you will practice and try to do better. And now you're going to persevere through instead of saying, you know what, I did this and now I feel bad. And that feeling of guiltiness, that feeling of unworthiness, that feeling of self-pity, it can be extremely exhausting, okay? Life already, this human experience, this third realm is just completely chaotic enough for you to sit there and beat yourself down like that. You don't deserve that, okay? Okay, babies out here, you don't deserve that, okay? You deserve to just stop and breathe and become more self-aware and stop those thoughts. Even if you got to yell, stop, or just, that's enough. Some other things I know that works for me. I put lavender oil inside my face mask. I put lavender oil under my nose, on the my Reiki points on my wrist, the top of my spine, the base of my spine, and on my feet. I put lavender oils in those spots. Okay, and that just helps me to stay more grounded. I haven't had a panic attack in a long time. Anxiety attacks, not really, but it just helps me to, because I don't allow those thoughts to take over my life anymore. That's the great part about that. So there are things that you can add to your self care to help you, your mental health and different things like that. Okay. So being able to shift the blame off of yourself is being able to stop undermining yourself. Trust me, there's enough people out there in the whole world that's going to undermine you. You don't need to do it to yourself. Okay. And that's not even me justifying it. That's me just telling you what it is in the world, unfortunately. Um, so when you stop blaming yourself, guess what you're saying? You're saying to the world, I'm no longer a martyr. I'm no longer going to stand back and just take everything and say that, you know what, it's my fault. You know what? I'll take the blame for this. You are basically telling the world that you are a person who deserves compassion, care, and support. Okay? And that's why it's important to not blame yourself all the time, because people get used to it. Because when you keep on blaming yourself and they notice it, then they're going to start blaming you for shit that you didn't even do. Or they're going to start manipulating you and gaslighting you into saying that you did things that you didn't do, just so it can be off of them, because they know that you're going to take the blame for it because you're a martyr. Okay? Listen, having that support circle is so, so important. Having those positive friends like me that's like, you know what? That's not true. Don't say that about yourself, because you're beautiful, because you're smart, because I see you working hard on that degree, because I see you going to work every day, because I see you taking care of your relationships the way you need to, because I see you pouring into the community the way you need to. That's the type of support that you need. You don't need supports like, oh, really? You're going through that again? Well, I just think you're a negative person, and I don't want to have that in my life anymore. You don't want to be gaslighted because you're going through something. Find people that support you. Find groups of people that support you. There's groups of people that support you, that want you to win, that you don't even know yet. You always have to remember that. There's thousands and millions and thousands of people out there that want you to win that you don't even know yet. That's the beautiful part of this human experience. There's always someone out there waiting to support you and to love you that you have not even met yet. But that love is out there. You just got to grasp at it. You just got to believe that it's there. I promise you. And I know I'm overly optimistic. That might be one of somebody might see that as a character flaw with me. But that's just who I am. I know it's out there for you. I know it's out there. I know it's out there for you. Okay? And it's extremely healing to be in the environment of beings that support you. Okay? That's just something, it's like, it's not a trauma bind. It's not a trauma dump. It's just knowing that if you are in a place, it's gonna be some people that's like, they don't take it like, oh, I'm taking her energy, and I'm taking his energy, and you know what, sis, that's not even you, because you've been working so hard to do better. Come on now, don't say that about yourself. These are the things that you want to hear when you were going through a mental reframing, when you're going through that transformational change. These are the things that you want to hear. These are the things that you should desire to hear from others. Okay? And don't hyper focus on finding support. Support will come to you. The more you do for self, or when you seek it out, like seek out groups and stuff of that, people, introduce yourself. Stop having this fear of people not liking you. Stop having this fear of people thinking you're boring or corny or uncreative. Just show up as you. And whoever likes you loves you. Whoever loves you likes you. Period. Okay? Stop these self-effacing behaviors where you're not even giving yourself the opportunity to mingle, to be interconnected in your environment, in your atmosphere with other people who can't wait to love you, to get to know you, to support you. Okay? Woo! Excuse me. So let's go over one more time before we get out of here. Some risk that's related to automatic thoughts, because I know I'm aware that I talk fast, but the unpleasant emotions, negative automatic thoughts can cause us to feel unpleasant emotions The second part, like we talked about before, was the start of the automatic thoughts and not being able to stop them when they go on and on and on like a river. It's like on and on and on, on and on and on, on and on and on to the break of dawn. That's how we go. Them thoughts just keep coming and coming and coming. It starts off with, oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I need liposuction. Oh, I need to run a mile. Oh, I can't wear that. They're gonna laugh at me. Oh no, remember that time they laughed at me in second grade? You know, and it goes on and on and on and on. So with that being said, this is Empress Marie Nicole, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.